Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. There are a lot of new subscribers that have joined the channel within the last week, and so what I wanted to do is give a definitive telling on the carjacking incident, and more so directly talk about how that affected me and made me into the current version of myself. So let's just go ahead and dive right into the story. It's April 15th, 2022. It's 6:30 p.m., Baltimore City. It is a sunny day, about 72 degrees, I'd say. My wife and I just got done running around the outside of the M&T Bank Stadium building, and I walked back to the house. And that is kind of gives you an idea of where we lived at in the city. And we had gotten ready, took showers, and we're just going to go get groceries. But first, we were going to fill up our cars with gas, each individually, drive back. She was going to jump in my car, and then we were going to carpool to the grocery store. And we walk out. She's right in front of the house. I'm on the other side of the street, and we see this guy walking on the other end of this, like on the other side of the street on the sidewalk. He's walking, and he has a balaclava on, and he has it looks like a bag of potato chips in his hand. And usually when I'm in the city, I at that time was like, really aware. My situational awareness was really on point. However, in this case, I looked at him and I was suspicious, but then I just had this thought of don't be racist. And I was like, all right, it's probably fine. Let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to ignore this person. Basically, he's probably just walking somewhere. So I walk over to my car, and at the time I had a very bad habit of double clicking the unlock and lock buttons. So I double click that, and I get in the car and I turn it on, and my focus completely goes away from him, number one, because I was like, don't be racist. And two, I had just had $600 worth of maintenance done on my car, and I was like, okay, I need to, I'm just hoping that it was working. So I felt like I needed to put all my attention on it and just focus on that. So I turned the car on, and I remember I do this move like, yes. And then I see him rush the car and open the door, because I had that bad habit of double clicking the unlock button. So he jumps in, and he turns, and there's a small caliber revolver just pointed at my face suddenly, and he says, empty your pockets. And the first thing that I thought was, number one, oh my God. And I said that. And two, the immediate thought was, oh no, Rose has no idea what's happening, because he just snuck right in. And so I look, and I'm like, I just stare at her car, and I'm thinking, well, crap. And then he shouts, do it. And I look, and he points his gun he just puts the barrel right up to my forehead. And I'm like, okay. And he's taking my phone out of my right pocket, and he just tells me do the other one. So I slowly pull my wallet out, and I give it to him, and I open the door. He tells me to get out, so I get out. Now, mind you, what I didn't say in the first part is that my muscle movement wanted to just chop him in the throat, but again, just had $600 worth of maintenance done to the car, so I didn't want him to tense up and shoot through the console, like my sync dashboard or anything, and like into the engine. I just did not want my car that had just been paid off as well to get damaged. So I was like, okay. Stopped, kind of just felt my way through the situation, lulled him into that false sense of security, got out of the car, and I'm standing there, and he crawls over the center console and just plops down and is about to close the door, and I just take have my hands like this, and I take one big step to him so I can get between the door and in the car, and I just say, "Why are you doing this?" And he looks up all wild-eyed and points the gun at me, and I'm just like, okay. He's like, "Back up." I'm like, okay. And there's a thought. I'm like this close to just letting him take everything, but what went through my head, and this is the only way I can explain it, is that I saw an endless amount of people that he would hurt if I did nothing in that instance. And I think this was spirit telling me, just showing me what would happen if I did nothing, and I felt this very strong compulsion to stop him. So I have this mix of emotions. It is me just getting my car paid off and wanting to, not have a brand new car payment. It is me having all this maintenance done and not wanting the car to be damaged. And then it's like, well, there's insurance. It'll all get worked out. But people have been known to, just even if they close the door and go away, like if they get what they want, sometimes the criminal's going to kill you anyways. So I just had this compulsion to jump in and stop him. So he's looking at me all wild-eyed. I step back. I say, okay, that happens in like less than a second. I feel that compulsion, and I see what'll happen if I do nothing. And I step in. As soon as he turns to close the door, he's got the gun pointed at me, like this. He's looking at me. And as soon as he looks away and goes to close the door, I just step in and I grab the barrel. And all that went through my head is control the barrel, control the fight. Control the barrel, control the fight. Control the barrel, control the fight. So I grab it. I grab the barrel and I grab the handle with the other hand, and I'm trying to wrench it out. And he looks at me crazy, and he's like, "What are you doing? It's gonna blow!" Like he's like telling me it's loaded, it's locked, it's ready. And I just continue to wrench, and then I don't know how he hit me, but I don't know if he just let go and heaved me across because he had it in his right hand. Maybe he elbowed me, or it was a strong backhand. Either way, it was a kid and he was strong, because he hit me right here and split my lip. My tooth went through it. Found out later, but he hits me and I drop to a knee. I found out that day that I can take a punch. So I drop to a knee and I don't let go of the gun. And so I'm kneeling right next to the car on the driver's side, and the car starts rolling backwards. And suddenly this attempt to thwart this carjacker is going awry very quickly. So the car's rolling backwards, and I'm in flip-flops trying to avoid getting shot, keeping control of the barrel, and I am trying to avoid getting my feet trapped. So I'm just going to become a stream of consciousness and put myself back in that moment, and we're going to just discuss how it goes down. So I get hit. I drop to a knee. The car starts rolling back, and I start thinking, holy crap, I can take a punch. And I think, holy crap, the car's rolling backwards. Let's get my feet out from under this so I don't get crushed, crawling, getting dragged suddenly, and I feel my back start to shred on the asphalt as I'm being dragged along the car. I am outside. Here's the car. I'm getting dragged down with it as it's rolling backwards. I am maintaining control of the barrel, control the barrel, control the fight, control the barrel, control the fight. Oh no, I'm starting to slow down and I'm getting caught up in the door. I'm lagging behind. So I'm traveling under the door. His foot kicks my hand away, the one that was on the barrel. So now I just have a weak grip on the grip of the gun. And I take that moment and I scoot myself back along the asphalt to kind of stay up with the car. And he is now both hands on the gun, trying to turn it down towards me. I start screaming no, because there's no one out. And I find that very interesting, why there's no one around, or why my wife cannot even hear me, going through this. And so I start screaming no at the top of my lungs, and I reach up last second because it's coming down, and I reach up, I grab the barrel, do that, pop. And as soon as the gun goes off right next to my head, it was a small caliber too. It was like a 22, I'd say. Because otherwise I wouldn't be able to hear out of my left ear at all. But it goes off. I hear the crack, and it was like I was simultaneously in my body, but also out of it. It was like I was living this duality, because I thought it was like my spirit started laughing. It was like, holy crap, did that just go off? And then the physical part of me just curls up into a ball and is like, starts doing this thing. It's like, check for any signs of minute change, because I'm aware that if I did get hit in any way, shape, or form, I might not feel it. It would go numb. It's tearing through you. It might feel like something, but it might not feel like I got shot. So I'm just checking head to toe, making sure that there are no minute changes that I can feel or anything like that. And it was like, I do that. I do it very quickly, and then all of a sudden, I start getting, rolled up in the door again. And what comes through me is, okay, resolve the situation, and then check for injury. So very quickly, I notice that my positioning is I am on my back, curled up in a ball, with the barrel in my left hand, and I'm holding it just like this. So he's got to be like twisted like that. So I sacrifice my back. I roll up high onto my back, and I twist my body. So I just kind of do this, which just tears the crap out of your back on the asphalt. I roll up onto my knees in a crouched position, just like this. And then I crank the gun out of his hand, and pop, and it comes out, and he immediately runs away. He immediately starts running, and my wife comes running up to me and says, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I tell her that he tried to pull a gun on me. What I do remember is I screamed at him, "Keep running, MFer," and then I turn around and I see her, and I reach up and I touch this, and I look, and it's covered in blood, and I go, "Hey, can you see my tooth?" Like through my lips, and she says yes. So I walk over to my car, which is backed into, because remember, it was rolling backwards. It bumped into the car behind me. Somehow there was absolutely no damage to either vehicle. I get in the car. I don't know what to do with the weapon, so I set it between my legs, and then I drive forward, put it in park. By the time I get out of the car, she is already on the phone with 911, and that then sets into motion what comes next. I sit down, we wait for the cops to show up, we give a statement. EMS, yeah, I think that's what you call them, the paramedics. They come and they check me out. Then I go to the hospital, get stitched up, and the detectives come. We talk about everything, and then we go from there. So what wound up happening is, when he shot, the ricochet came up and hit him in the arm, and he lost all control. It hit him in the elbow, basically. And so he lost all strength in his arm suddenly, and was bleeding out. And so he ran around the corner and found two older women who were moms, who basically used their own clothing to tourniquet his wound. And then he was picked up a block and a half away from there. Now, from my interview onward, I had reasonable doubt that the person that they picked up was actually the kid. But they said he matched the description, and he had a gunshot wound. That's pretty much all I knew. They felt that they had enough to prosecute, and so he was on the hook basically for 130 years in prison as a 17-year-old kid. And I felt that, again, I follow my intuition. There's going to be a lot of people that weigh in and have already weighed in my life on this instance. And all I can tell you is that I follow my intuition 100% of the time. That is my driving force in every decision that I make. And because I follow that intuition 100% of the time, that was predominantly the reason I fought back. I saw all the people he would kill, and I guess I felt this sense of, you will be okay. So that's why I did that. And also, when I found out that they were going to prosecute him and actually try to put him behind bars, I followed my intuition again, and it was just show him forgiveness. Just my assessment of the situation was, he's a 17-year-old kid. I don't know what led him to do the things that he's done, but I don't feel like at 17 being sentenced to your life being over for these actions is justice. What I wanted for him was a fair shake. And I don't know what happened to him, unfortunately, but ultimately what did happen is I let him plead guilty as a minor. So he got 6 months in a hardware facility and got various amounts of services to be rehabilitated as a productive member of society, basically. Whether that is what juvie is or whatever, I don't know. But what I do know is that this event lasted physically about a minute and a half, maybe, max. The way the speed and everything, it had to have been roughly 1 minute in total. And it has affected me very deeply. I had trauma, rightfully so, from that. I had to live in that area for 3 months after the fact. And it happened right outside our front door in broad daylight. After that, we became very close with our neighbors and everyone just in that community, because they reached out when they saw what happened. And the reason that no one was actually out during that time is because they were all at an Orioles game just down the road. So in the aftermath, I've had a lot of trauma from that, but also what has transpired in my life on a spiritual level has been insane. Again, I was a very big time spiritualist. I did a whole series. I did a whole video that turned into a bunch of shorts about my spiritual awakening and how that had all shaken out. So I was big time into meditation and all that stuff. And that was the first time I ever saw Jesus in the aftermath. It was about a month later. I was doing a meditation. I was not in a good place, so I got home from work and I just laid down and I started to meditate, and I found myself at the Last Supper is where I met Jesus, and he was smiling, and I was like, holy crap, like, it's you. Why are you showing yourself to me? And then he took me down to this room underneath this temple, and I saw what a bunch of spiritualists / ET enthusiasts would refer to as archons, basically lizard entities, what you could call demons, basically. And that entity gave me a hug, and I felt a lot of love, and he stood there with his hands on both of us, and in that moment, I knew we were just in a cosmic play, living out his will, basically, so to speak. And it is something that I've held on to and continues to drive me to this very day. And there's so much that I experience, that I feel, that I get from the other side of the veil. And I have had to spend the last 3.5 years really getting into it and learning how this works. But what I gather from it, from Spirit, now that that's all passed, is that it was a test and I passed. And because I did those things, not only has it changed my perception and my reality, but it is permeating throughout the world. I don't know what that individual has done with his life. Unfortunately, I did try to reach out to the ASA last year, but shortly after we moved, but I have not been able to actually get a hold of them. Maybe I should try again. I don't know. But that is bringing us to the natural conclusion of this video, because while I can talk endlessly about my spiritual gifts, and people will comment what they will on those, this video in particular was to talk about specifically that moment in my life. And, I've told a lot of people this story. Number one, it's kind of a cool story to say that, I fought a carjacker at gunpoint and I won. He got nothing. And not only did he not get anything, but he tried to kill me and in turn shot himself. That's pretty cool. On the surface, that is a pretty cool story to tell. But then you compound it and you say you forgave that person. And a lot of people will say, oh, I would have shot him. A lot of people think it's weak to let him go, to do what I did. And that's fine. That's a reflection of you and what lives inside of you. But what I will say to anyone who this is my blanket response to anyone. It is easy to say what you will or will not do in a situation when you are not in it. But it is a whole new ballgame when you are staring down the barrel of a gun. That's it. And with that, everyone, we're at that natural conclusion here where I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching up to this point, and for finding any sort of value in this message that I come on here and speak. And I am still at a loss for words to describe the appreciation that I have for you all. It truly is like I'm living in bizarre world that anyone truly feels like I am interesting enough to sit here and listen to or whatever. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, forever, thank you. And to all the new subscribers, you're amazing. As always, every single one of you help me validate why I'm doing this. It shouldn't even come down to that, but some days you don't want to turn this on. Some days you feel like you're just grinding your wheels or spinning your wheels and like you're not making a difference. But then someone will say something, some comment, you get a subscriber for just being you, and it makes all the difference. So again, eternally, thank you. And as always, guys, if you actually did get something from this, or you feel like anyone would benefit from this message, consider liking, subscribing, sharing with whoever you feel like could benefit from it. I always appreciate the support in any way, shape, or form. And it's the first day of fall, so happy autumn, everyone. And that means, unfortunately, the time changes around the corner. And it also means that my paranormal series is going to be started. So look forward to that in October. And guys, until the next time, my name is Ken, and I'll see you then.